Have you ever felt this crushing kind of inexplicable weight in your life? Maybe it's a profound sadness or a constant gnawing anxiety that just has no logical root in your actual reality.
Yeah, you look around and everything's supposed to be fine.
Exactly. Everything seems fine, yet you carry this heavy, invisible emotional burden that you feel like you somehow inherited.
That feeling is so much more common than people think. And the reason it can feel so intense is that, well, a lot of that internal conflict didn't actually start with us.
So what are we talking about here?
What we're often sensing, what we're internalizing, is what some call an emotional inheritance or an ancestral wound. It's the unprocessed emotional legacy of those who came before us.
Okay, let's unpack this immediately, because our mission today is, well, that's a big one. We're going to dive deep into the specific mechanisms of this inheritance, from DNA to subtle energy.
And then, crucially, we have to talk about the tools.
Yes, the tools. We're going to give you specific, actionable steps to consciously break these inherited cycles and finally, set down what isn't yours to carry.
To really get a handle on this, we have to start with the physical. We have to start with the science.
You mean like biology?
Specifically epigenetics. Yeah. The easiest way I've found to think about it is this. Your DNA is the computer hardware. It's rigid, it's set.
Right.
But when an ancestor experiences severe, prolonged trauma, I'm talking about things like war, famine, displacement, that kind of systemic oppression, that trauma doesn't change the hardware.
Okay.
But it installs this restrictive stress software right on top of it.
So the genetic code itself stays the same, but the instructions for how that code gets expressed they're fundamentally altered.
Precisely. Epigenetics studies those chemical markers, things like DNA methylation, that literally attach to certain genes and effectively turn their volume up or down.
Like little switches.
It's exactly like switches. And research has definitively shown that these markers, created by extreme ancestral stress, can be passed down. And here's the result. These markers mess with your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis.
The HPA axis.
Yes, your body's master stress regulator.
Yeah, so just to make this super clear, if your grandmother lived for years in a state of, say, high alarm, those chemical tags can essentially keep my alarm system switched on permanently.
That's it. That is it exactly. We see this validated in studies on specific stress genes, where these changes directly influence how your body handles stress signals.
It sounds like the off switch gets broken.
It's like the system designed to say, okay, the danger's over, you can calm down, just gets jammed.
Okay.
So you inherit a nervous system that is primed for hypervigilance and a rapid cortisol release, even when you're just sitting safely in your living room.
Wow. Okay, so that's the biological wiring. But this is where the psychological imprint comes in, right? Because it's not always just about a stress gene. It's about what some psychoanalytic work calls the ghosts of the unspeakable.
Phantoms.
Phantoms. What does that mean?
These phantoms, they represent the unresolved legacies, the deep, devastating pain, the family secrets, the moments of shame that were just. They were too difficult for a previous generation to process or even talk about.
But if the trauma is unspeakable, how do we even begin to trace that back? Do you have to know the specific event or the specific ancestor?
No, and that's the thing. Often it's not necessary to pinpoint the exact source. The transmission happens implicitly.
Implicitly? How?
Well, the experience can't be processed into language, so it creates these nonverbal gaps in the family story. As kids, we are exquisitely tuned into our parents' underlying emotional states. We register their devastation, their hidden sadness, their unresolved emotions, all of it subconsciously, without a single word being spoken.
So we internalize the weight of their unspoken history.
And that's exactly why this pain often manifests as somatic problems.
Problems in the body.
Yes, problems of the body that the conscious mind cannot cognitively explain. We see chronic phobias, anxiety that seems to defy all logic, or this intense, completely unearned guilt. The body is holding the memory that the mind repressed or maybe never even had language for in the first place.
For anyone listening who's trying to connect this theory to their actual life, what are some of the most common inherited emotional patterns that we tend to see?
The patterns are incredibly powerful and really specific. First, we often see a persistent, profound lack of safety in the world. This is the echo of ancestors who experience things like severe displacement, famine, or loss of their home. It can manifest as, constantly checking the doors are locked, excessive saving, or just never feeling truly settled, no matter how stable your life actually is.
That deep underlying tremor.
Absolutely. Second, there's a deep fear of poverty or scarcity, even when the person is financially totally secure.
I've seen that.
Yeah, it looks like a successful executive who still checks their bank balance compulsively multiple times a day. They're terrified that tomorrow the bottom will just drop out.
Mm.
It's reflecting a lineage that genuinely experienced that kind of lack.
And what about the most, I guess, emotionally complex one? The guilt that can come with success.
Yes, that's the third one. Feeling guilty for having happiness or success. It's a subconscious belief that achieving comfort or liberation somehow betrays the suffering of the generations who struggled before you.
So you hold yourself back to honor them?
Exactly. It forces you to keep one foot in the pain to honor the past, which is, it's just a massive energetic burden to carry.
That idea of an energetic burden moves us perfectly from the biological and psychological into the spiritual framework. This is where we talk about an ancestral energy imprint.
Right. And when we talk about energy, we have to look at the chakra system. Where is the core instinct for survival located?
Per root chakra.
The root chakra, the Muladhara. The deepest imprint of generational trauma is almost always heavily lodged right there. For anyone unfamiliar, this is the foundational energy center, the base of the spine, and it governs your primal survival instincts, your safety, your ability to feel grounded.
So if your ancestors were constantly fighting for their basic existence, that intense primal survival fear gets recorded right there, creating that chronic feeling of being ungrounded.
It creates a constant feeling of instability, no matter how safe your actual environment is. And this brings us to that question that so many people ask, why me? Why was I chosen to carry this massive pain?
And that's the critical shift we need to make right now. Because the fact that you can even perceive this deep, unearned pain, that means you possess the necessary spiritual strength to deal with it.
It means you possess the strong spirit or the highly developed consciousness needed to identify and, most importantly, to stop the generational cycle. Unresolved trauma seeks to repeat itself over and over again, but it stops the moment it meets a conscious, capable person who can say, I see you and no more.
You are the lineage healer.
That's the role.
You are selected not to perpetuate the burden, but to reclaim the power and achieve liberation. Not just for your own future, but for the unresolved energy of those who came before you. It's really the ultimate act of respect and reconciliation.
And that reframing is absolutely essential before we even start talking about the tools. Because if you see yourself as a victim of the burden, the tools won't work. If you see yourself as the healer reclaiming power, well, then the tools become transformative.
So if we accept this role as the lineage healer, how do we begin the practical act of release? We turn to modalities that are specifically designed to repattern these deeply held energetic codes. We're going to introduce crystal repatterning as a really practical starting point, using a simple 3-crystal solution.
And these 3 crystals work sequentially to ground, to heal, and then to cleanse. You don't need huge, expensive pieces either. A small, tumbled stone that you can hold is perfect for this kind of intentional work.
Let's start with the extractor. What's the first one?
That would be Smoky Quartz. This is your fear extractor. Since so much ancestral trauma is fundamentally rooted in survival feel, Smoky Quartz's job is to help you root out and absorb those deep-seated negative patterns. It draws that heavy energy out and grounds it safely into the earth.
Okay, so once that heavy energy is pulled out, we have to address the relational part of it. We have to move up to the heart.
And that's where Rhodonite comes in. It targets the heart chakra, the anahata. Rhodonite is crucial because this kind of healing requires reconciliation, which often means radical forgiveness. It helps facilitate compassion for the struggle. It helps release that dense emotional weight, and it opens the heart to reconcile the pain and the secrets of the past.
And finally, once the pain has been extracted and the heart has reconciled the emotion, we need to, clean the slate. Make room for a new intention.
That is the perfect role for Selenite. It's named for the Greek moon goddess, and it is the final cleanser and light conduit. Selenite purifies your aura, your whole energy field, detoxifies any residual energy, and creates that crucial blank slate upon which you can write your new future, one that's free of the old inherited codes.
Now, beyond crystal work, it's really important to acknowledge some other powerful methods that address these deep inherited patterns. One technique that's built on EFT tapping is matrix reimprinting.
Matrix reimprinting, yes. It works by guiding you to connect with the younger parts of yourself, the parts that actually recorded those core negative beliefs, and it helps you safely transform the memory of the trauma into a supportive, positive experience. The goal is to consciously reimprint a new, empowering belief system right into the subconscious.
And another recognized system that focuses on clearing these systemic family debts is family constellations therapy, or FCT.
FCT focuses on changing your inner stance towards deep-seated family dynamics. The core idea is that you step out of your inherited burden by recognizing and honoring every single family member's rightful place within the system.
Even the difficult ones.
Even the difficult or the ostracized ones. When everyone is honored, the pressure on later generations to carry that debt is released. It can be a really powerful tool for systemic relief.
Okay, now for the practical application. Let's bring the intentionality of the crystals and the power of conscious declaration into a simple 5-step repatterning ritual you can do at home to finally return the energy.
Let's make this tangible for everyone listening.
Step 1. Ask and acknowledge. The next time that familiar unearned anxiety or that scarcity mindset rises up, just pause. Hold your smoky quartz. Feel the stone grounding you and ask yourself honestly, is this emotion truly mine, or is it a survival code inherited from someone before me? Just identify that old trauma code, acknowledge it's there, but own that it is not yours.
Step 2. Allow it to flow. Then you take the rhodonite and place it right on your chest over your heart chakra. Take some deep, slow breaths. This step is about radical acceptance. Allow the painful feeling to surface without judging it. Don't fight it. Let the rhodonite absorb and ground that emotional density into the earth.
Step 3. Speak the sentence of power. This is the moment of declaration. You need to consciously articulate your intention to break the tie, out loud. Feel the power in your voice. I return the energy that is not mine to where it belongs. You are actively declaring your liberation from this ancestral debt.
Step 4. Clear the space. Now, take your selenite, pass it over your body, focusing especially on your root chakra area and your entire energy field. Visualize this brilliant white light surrounding you, just cleansing, detoxifying, and wiping the slate completely clean of any residual energy from that declaration.
And finally, step 5. Write the new code. You have successfully created a void by releasing the old code. You have to fill it with a new intention. Consciously affirm a new, positive belief for your future. This is what cuts that generational chain. Use powerful present tense statements like, I choose my truth, not the fear from previous generations. Or maybe, I am safe and capable of creating my own stability and joy. This is liberation in action.
And this ritual, it isn't a one-time quick fix. It's a declaration of your consciousness. By repeating these acts, you establish a completely new energetic blueprint for your entire life.
What an incredible deep dive into the invisible burdens we carry. I mean, it is profoundly liberating to realize that inherited trauma is not your fault and that you possess the absolute spiritual authority to set down the burden and choose a new path for your life.
This shift is foundational. It's a fundamental energetic change that achieves liberation for you, and it sends ripples of healing back through your lineage. It frees the spirits and the unresolved energy of your ancestors from that perpetual cycle of pain they were trapped in.
It allows the whole lineage to finally rest.
So take a moment today. Think about the most unreasonable fear or scarcity mindset you carry, the one that makes zero rational sense given your current stability. If you consciously decided to release that one specific ancestral code today, how much lighter, how much safer, and how much freer would you feel? And what new possibilities would open up with that massive surge of reclaimed energy?